scalps in the last few weeks as well.
Yeah, it's always a better place when we win. An unusual way to win too, against a real high quality side that probably touched us up a little through, between the arcs and in around the football. But that's their strength. We knew that coming in, that their contested game is of the highest quality. So we were, we were stoked to get the win in the end. We thought our guys fought it out, showed some grit. Our back six were outstanding on the night to repel all the inside 50s, and we came away with a really good result.
To concede that many inside 50s and only concede that little score, internally, what's the view, not just on the night, but also of how your back six is playing?
Yeah, well, it's not the way we want to play. We like to play front and centre football. I think most teams want to have the ball up there as much as they can, more opportunity to score. But for our back six to hold on, and it's not just our back six, it's more than that. We defend as one, so 18 players are all involved in that. But I thought the way the team held up, as a coaching group, we couldn't have been more pleased with the way they held on when things weren't going the way we'd like them to.
Is that a mental thing, or have they learned the game plan after the X amount of years?
I think it's a mix. I think they're backing in, they trust each other. We've got some guys that are in pretty good form. Tommy Jonas coming back in after a week out, I thought he was huge. Tommy Cleary lifted his game to another level, and Dougal Howard showing some stuff down there that, when it looks like it's a score against, he's able to come through and prevent it. So, I think the group's maturing. I think they understand and trust each other, more than they have, and that'll continue to improve, hopefully, as the season goes on.
Is this what you expect from the team, or are you exceeding expectations, or is there still stuff that you'd like to?
We've still got a long way to go. I mean, when you don't win too many games like that, with the stats lined up the way they were, the percentage you say you're not winning many of those games. So we've got a lot that we still want to improve. But our last month, last 4 or 5 weeks have been right up where we want them to be. As far as playing the style of footy we want to play and challenging the opposition.
Given the scouts of Richmond and Melbourne, two red hot teams, where does that leave you now? Is there a lot of belief within the group?
Yeah, I think that when you come into the club on a Monday, there's a really positive vibe around about what you're doing and how you're performing as a group. So our players are in a good spot, and it is it is a really good performance to knock off sides that are playing good footy. And Melbourne, they're a great side. They showed what a challenge it is to beat that team. They're going to bring contested ball. They're going to beat a lot of sides like they did us in that area. So for us to come away with a win's a really good sign, and to do it against Richmond, who are another side that are at the top of their game, that's a good sign for us too.
Last year there was a bit of outside noise. You could bully the lower teams, but maybe couldn't beat some of the top 4 sides. Do you feel like you've turned that narrative around this year, especially given when the Crows don't sit in the 8, but that big showdown win now, like we just said, Richmond and Melbourne? Do you feel like you've turned that narrative a bit?
Well, it's an area we had to get better at. I mean, there's no doubt that the stats are there. We couldn't beat top 8 sides last year. It was something that was our Achilles heel. We've been able to do that this year, but the challenge is now buttering up again. We've got another 3 or 4 weeks of hard footy to come, and we have to go out and perform the way we have in the last month.
What about playing on the MCG, obviously, Saturday against Carlton? It's the first time you've been there. Pretty important to sort of get a feel of the ground and sort of dimensions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Compared to other grounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, probably not so much dimensions, but it's the ground that you've got to be able to play good footy on if you want to win the whole thing. So we look forward to that. We love playing footy down there. We don't get too many opportunities, as you said. So that's another big challenge for us is to go down where we haven't actually been this year, on the road, and perform. That's what we're looking to do this week.
How different is it in terms of your game style there compared to playing at Adelaide Oval?
Well, our game style is not too different. I mean, the width of the MCG is, that's the challenge, is getting used to how much space is out on the wings. It's a little harder to pin the ball in your front half than what it is at Adelaide Oval, but there are other things you can do on that ground. There's a lot more room to move the ball in offence, and our group really enjoy playing, playing with the footy in our hands. We like to get out and run, so that would be nice for our group to get out and play. Hopefully the conditions are good.
So I was going to say some of the recruits are really, sort of playing some good football now. I think Lindsay Thomas has come in the last couple of weeks and played a good role. Stephen Motlop had a couple of really nice sort of goal assists and touches over the weekend. Tom Rockler's getting more comfortable. Sort of feeling that those three especially are really finding their feet after, was it 13 games then?
Yeah. I mean, it's always going to take some time, isn't it, for them to gel with the group. I thought Motts was outstanding on the weekend. He really was damaging with the football. He's got that ability to create, when we're going forward, and I thought he had a really strong game. Rock's starting to play like we knew what he was bringing to Brisbane. He's an on-field leader. He loves the contest, and so he's starting to really enjoy his footy and get involved in there. And that's what we need. We need those players to step up and perform well for us.
On that, Jack Watts played in the SANFL. He played well last week, but Ken mentioned he's probably going to play a few games in the SANFL. Given the bye for the SANFLs this week, does it look like he's definitely out of the side this week and needs to spend a bit more time in the twos?
Not necessarily. We'll look at selection, but coming off a solid win, and you mentioned Lindsay Thomas, the way he performed forward of the ball. Westy's been playing a little bit of football down there of late as well, and playing some really good footy for us, playing an important role. Jack coming off a bye, we'd love to see him perform again at SANFL level, but that's not to say we'll definitely have his name up there for selection this week, and if we decide to go that way, it'll be that we feel it makes our side better.
Is he in a good frame of mind, Jack, and drops towards the end of his career at Melbourne and then against his old side out of the team again? Does he know where he's at?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can only go on what Jack's saying and the way he's holding himself around the club, but I'm not sure if you saw him in the rooms post-game. The two boys from Melbourne, both Jacks, they were loving it. They enjoyed the win. They're part of it. He's got some stuff he's going back to work on, and I thought the game, and we were really happy as a coaching group the way he performed at SANFL level. His attitude when he went back, was outstanding. He got around the group. It'll only be a matter of time, and he'll be back in before you know it. And we do need him in our side. We really do want him in our AFL side, but we want him to be confident and playing good footy as well.
What are those things he particularly needs to work on?
Oh, look, what he did at SANFL level was the contest. He gave us just a ruthless contest. Now he's more of a focal point in that game. It might be something that we have a look at as a coaching group. How can we get him in there, in those positions? But he just went hard at the footy, enjoyed the contest, got his hands dirty, and that's exactly what we're asking of him.
Another one on selection, Matty Broadbent. There was a bit of chatter that he'd come back into kind of calculations following the SANFL bye. Is that looking likely for this week?
Probably not at this point from an AFL selection. I think Broady's now making sure that he's right to play football at any level. We just want to make sure we don't rush him back in. He's obviously had a long time out of the game, so he was back out at training during the week last week, and the boys enjoyed it. They got up and about for him because we haven't seen him out there for an extended period. So for him, it's more about getting his body right.
As in, is he going to play SANFL this weekend?
Well, possibly. And I think he's still got a fair bit to go through. It was a couple of sessions, but they by no means will they rush that back.
Yeah, I think Ken said a couple of weeks ago that he'd need probably a month of footy in the SANFL before being considered for AFL. So at this stage, is a chance to play in the SANFL this weekend?
Well, I don't know exactly whether the doctors are going to clear him up. We'll know more of that this afternoon when we sit down and have a chat about this upcoming week.
He's sort of getting a fair bit loaded.
He's only had a couple of sessions, so you'd think from an extended time out of the game he's going to be at least another week or so. But I can't give you a definitive answer on that.
Just one on Sam Powell-Pepper. Sorry, it seems like there was that stuff at the start of the year that's kind of moved on from that, but it seems like he's really turned a corner the last couple of weeks with his pressure acts and just generally, kind of statistically, it looks like he's really turned a corner. Yeah,
he's playing some really strong footy, and he brings something to our team that we value really highly. I mean, from an offence point of view on the weekend, I don't think he troubled the opposition too much, but we can't question the fact the way he goes about his contest inside against one of the best teams in the competition. I thought he stood up for us, helped us get some dirty ball out of those stoppages, even though we were losing them. It gave our backs a chance to get in good positions to turn the ball over.
Has he matured as a footballer? You sit there on the weekend and you don't see it on TV, but in between the goals when they're walking back to the centre bounces, he's whacking Jack Bliney for 3 hours on the weekend. But has he matured to a point, do you think, where he knows exactly what he's doing in that moment throughout the whole game?
He knows when to do it. Yeah. Look, he enjoys the contest, and Rockliff's the same now. Now whether he's learning off of Rock, playing alongside him, there's no doubt Ollie Wines has gone to another level with his game. Just having some of these older heads in around, watching the way they go about their business, does it help these younger players? I have no doubt it does. So we couldn't be more happy with where those young guys are at. They're still developing. They're only going to get better again. And Pau Pepper, as I said before, we've got an expectation of how he plays for us. He's got a really important role in the way we play, and he fulfilled that on the weekend.
Were you happy with the way they stood up to the? It looks like the D's had a plan. Every single goal, they were all running up to Paddy Ryder, and they just nudged him the entire way back to the centre. So were you happy with the way your midfield sort of responded to that physically? Yeah, that's probably where I'm coming from. I think, in previous years we may not have seen that. It may have been something we looked at post game and asked the question of the group, but there's no doubt on the weekend that they had a look at Paddy. I think a lot of teams have. He's a super player, and any way you can try and stop him, you'd be stupid not to. But I thought our players stood up. I thought they were there. They recognised it and gave back as much as what Melbourne were giving. Do you reckon it's a confidence thing? Like they now feel confident in their ability to dish it back up with that sort of stuff and on the general play? Yeah, it's probably a trust and a confidence in your teammates that you're there for each other.
For all the excitement about that, at the end of the day you got smashed inside, and that's something you pride yourself on. Yet that was your test as much as it was to win. Yeah. So what do you learn from that? What do you have to improve? What did you notice that you need to improve on? Yeah, well, I mean, that's the best part of a win like that. Is sometimes you can come out of a win and dominate a game, and what do you learn from dominating? Well, we're pretty good at some. You get ahead of yourself. We can't have had a better win on the weekend because we got a really large lesson from as I said before, a high quality midfield group. Melbourne are right up there with the best, and we knew that coming in. So we've got things we have to work on. So our midfielders will go away, and as good as the feeling is at the moment that we perform well, we'll be looking at some of the tape, looking for some growth areas. All right, how are we going to? Because if you want to win the whole thing, you're going to play sides like Melbourne, and that's finals footy, and that's what we thought the weekend was. It was a finals footy feeling. Watching back, the pressure numbers, the way both teams went at it, I thought they were better than us between the arcs, but I thought we were able to match them at either end of the ground, which kept us in the game. So some real positives, but a lot of stuff to still work on.
Nixie, just one last one on your backs again. Do you feel that Tommy Jones has taken his game to another level this year, and in what ways do you feel he's done that?
Yeah, well, in what ways? It's a good question, because we've always rated Tommy really highly, but this year he seemed to have real key moments where he's impacted. We back him in one-on-one, and we have for years. He's a really solid player, probably a little underrated across the league. But this year he seems to have stepped up in moments that are really crucial. Where you think, well, there's no way we're stopping this goal, but Tommy finds a way to come off and help or win a one-on-one. So that's probably where he's gone to another level. He's now stood up when we really need him.
Why do you think he is underrated? Not in a lot of people predicted all Australian teams and those sort of things he's playing.
He's a good mate, Tommy. He's a bit vanilla, Tommy. He just goes about his business. He's so coachable. He's he's in our leadership group. We value him so highly in that leadership group because Tommy's straight down the line. He tells you exactly how it is. He plays footy the same way, and sometimes that can be overlooked when you play footy simply. He enjoys the contest. There's nothing flashy about what he does. But he's a very good footballer, and he's really good for our club.
Just to tick off a couple of injuries, Riley Bonner and Tom Marshall, they're all good after Monday night?
Yeah, look, at this point, it's very early, but both guys have been in this morning and both looking reasonably well, but we've still got Tuesday and Thursday to go.